Welcome to the April 9th through 10th, 2025 board meeting. My name is Sung Oh, president of the board. Again, I'm sorry, members, I'm not able to join you all in person in Sacramento. I was really hoping to get together, but unfortunately, I came down with a flu about a couple days ago, and I thought I would get better, but it seems like I'm not making any progress. So still here, thanks to SB 544, I'm able to at least attend virtually. So before we convene, I would like to remind everyone present that the board is a consumer protection agency charged with administering and enforcing pharmacy law, where protection of the public is inconsistent with other interests sought to be promoted. The protection of the public shall be paramount. As I facilitate this meeting, I will announce when we are accepting public comment. As the agenda details, the board has significant businesses to complete today and tomorrow, including time-sensitive closed session items. To ensure the board has sufficient time to complete all of its necessary work, I have advised the meeting moderator to allot 2 minutes to each individual providing comment. We'll begin with public comments for individuals attending in person, followed by public comments by individuals participating via WebEx. This approach is necessary to facilitate this meeting. Before we get started, I'd like to ask staff monitoring the meeting to provide general instructions. Moderator?
Thank you. This is the moderator. If anyone, at appropriate times, if anyone would like to make a comment, you can click on the hand icon to raise your hand. If you're on a mobile device, that icon might be behind the 3-dot other options icon. Otherwise, on a computer, it's at the bottom of your center of your WebEx screen. If you are a call-in user, you can press *3 to raise your hand. Each speaker will have 2 minutes to speak with a 10-second warning, and we ask people to speak only once on any given agenda item. And those are the instructions, and they will be on the screen during the public comment periods.
Thank you, Moderator Ann. I would like to take a roll call to establish a quorum. Jesse Crowley?
Licensee member present.
Thank you, Jesse. Trevor Chandler?
Public member present.
Trevor. Renee Barker?
Licensee member present.
Thank you, Renee. Jeff Hughes?
Public member present.
Jeff. KK Ja?
Licensee member present.
Thank you, KK. Jay Newell?
Public member present.
Thank you, Jay. Ricardo Sanchez?
Public member present.
Thank you, Ricardo. Satinder Sandhu? I don't believe Satinder is joining today. Maria Serpa?
Licensee member present.
Thank you, Maria. And Nicole Tebow?
Licensee member present, and there is no person 18 years or older present with me at this time.
Thank you. And I'm here, and there are no other individuals 18 years of age or older present in this room. Quorum has been established. I truly appreciate everyone's time and commitment to the board and California consumers. We have a very full meeting. As always, I ask everyone participating today to be respectful of the work before the board. We encourage participation by members of the public throughout our meetings at appropriate times. The board respectfully requests that when comments are provided, they're done so in a professional manner consistent with how the board conducts its business. Before we move to the next agenda item, I'd also like to remind myself and the board members participating via WebEx to please remain visible on camera throughout the open portion of today's meeting. If you need to temporarily turn off your camera due to challenges with internet connectivity, please remember to announce the reason for your non-appearance when you turn off the camera. Moving right on to agenda item 2, public comments for items not on the agenda, agenda items for future meetings. We'll now accept public comment for items not on the agenda. You're not required to identify yourself, but may do so. I'd like to remind everyone that the board cannot take action on these items except to decide whether to place an item on a future agenda. Accordingly, if your comment pertains to an item on the agenda for this meeting, please make your comment during the public comment period specific to that agendized item. Members, following a review of the public comments for this agenda item, I'll ask members to comment on what, if any, items should be placed on a future agenda. As a reminder, this agenda item is not intended to be a discussion, rather an opportunity for members of the board and members of the public to request consideration of an item for future placement on an agenda, at which time discussion may occur. We'll begin with public comment in Sacramento. I'm gonna just rely on Ann and Jesse to see if you can just let me know. I see somebody's walking up.
Hi there, can you hear me? Yes, you can. Good afternoon, California Board of Pharmacy. This is Julie Threet from Butte County, Chico. This is my 10th public comment coming before you to tell you that you're doing no such protection of anybody in this state when it comes to the vaccines you're administering through your pharmacy. I'm clearly frustrated And I'm done providing detailed letters packed with research and data. If you don't know where to get data yourself by now, you're completely incompetent. Your refusal to do anything speaks volumes. You refuse to accept the VAERS data. You refuse to even speak to the thousands of problems reported by your own pharmacies to the CDC. I'm tired of spending hundreds of dollars to make copies for the public as required by this board and to jump through hoops required by administration, but I will not stop spending my gas money to make sure my children and my grandchildren know that I stood up to fight to get these vaccines taken out of your pharmacies. It's insane. So for this meeting, I'm keeping it simple, and you all have this. I sent it on email on Sunday. Since the first meeting where I gave public comment, November the 1st, 2023, you've had an additional 2,066 new VAERS reports. That's problems filed by a vaccine administered in a California pharmacy. And 15 people have died since I came here back on November 1, 2023. That's a lot of blood on all your hands. You should be ashamed. I've given you the chart to show you every single meeting I've come to. When I first came here, there were 24,731 reports filed. There's now 26,797. That's another 2,000. It's 8.4%. There were 74 deaths. There's now 89. That's 15 people, 20% increase. I've given you the breakdown by vaccine type. Note that 26,797 reports, again, as of the end of March. There's multiple vaccine types. Clearly, the COVID vaccine we know is deadly. 79% of the reports filed in the California pharmacies are for the COVID vaccine. But fewer people are taking the shot, this poison. But your pharmacies are pushing the shingles and flu shots, and they're number 2 and 3. It's obnoxious that I walk into my Raley's and see shingles vaccines posted everywhere. It's insane. You need to stop it. I've given you
Time.
plenty of ample information. You need to stop these vaccines being administered in your pharmacies.
Thank you for the comment. We have anyone else there? Jesse or Ann?
I think that's it for in person in Sacramento.
Okay, thank you guys. And then we're gonna go to WebEx. Please, moderator Ann.
Thank you. If anyone would like to make a comment, you may look for the hand icon, typically at the bottom of your WebEx screen, or our call-in users can press *3 to raise their hands. And if you cannot get that to work, there is a question mark icon at the lower right. You can use that to type your comment, type the word comment, and we will call on you. Are there any comments for items not on the agenda? I do not see any requests for comment. Shall I close that public comment feature?
Thank you, moderator Ann. Members, bring the discussion back. Do we have any member comments? Today, I'm sorry I'm not there, so I'm not gonna be able to see you all, but just go ahead and you can speak up or raise your hand, however you can. But I'm not seeing any action, so I don't think there's any comments from members. Okay, we're ready to move on, members. Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 3, recognition and celebration of pharmacists licensed in California for 40 years. The board's recognition of pharmacists licensed in California for over 40 years is posted on our website, and pharmacists are provided with a certificate when they reach the significant milestone. Do we have any pharmacists in the meeting today?
I don't believe so.
Okay, all righty. And then moderator, if you could please open the Q&A feature to recognize any pharmacists attending virtually.
If you are attending virtually and you have the distinguished honor of serving 40 years or more, you may raise your hand, or you may look for the question mark icon, type the word comment into the text box and click send. And I do not see any requests for comment at this time. Shall I close that up?
Yes, please. Thank you, moderator Ann.
You're welcome.
Congratulations again to all the pharmacists who's been a licensed pharmacist for over 40 years. The board truly thanks you again for your contributions to public health. Next item is agenda item 4, election of officers. Our first item of action today is election of officers. As included in our board member procedure manual, the board shall elect the officers by majority of the membership of the board, and officers shall serve 1-year term effective June 1 and may be reelected for consecutive terms. I'd like to thank members for providing me the opportunity to serve as your board president. I would also like to thank Jesse for serving as the board's vice president and Trevor for serving as treasurer. It has been a very challenging year, but I'm very proud of our accomplishments and I would be really honored to serve another year as we wrap up our sunset this year with the legislatures. Again, I really appreciate everyone's support and commitment to California. With that, we're going to start with a nomination for the office of president. If members.
Hi, this is Renee.
Oops, go ahead. I'd like to nominate Sung Oh.
Oh,
For
thank you,
president.
Jesse. I really appreciate that. Do you have
ahead.
any other nominations?
I'll second that, Ricardo
Oh,
Sanchez.
thank you, Ricardo. Appreciate it.
Can we third it? Okay.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I thank you guys. Okay, well, with that, any other nominations? We're ready for public comment. Ready for public comment in Sacramento.
No public comment here.
Thank you, Jesse. We're ready for public comment in WebEx. Moderator Ann.
If there are any comments on the nomination, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. And our call-in users may press *3 to raise their hands. Any comments on the nomination for president? I see no request for comment. Shall I close that?
Thank you, Moderator Ann. You are ready for a vote. Jesse, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you, Trevor.
Yes.
Thank you, Renee.
Yes.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you, KK.
Yes.
Thank you, Jay.
Yes.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Yes.
Thank you, Maria.
Yes.
Thank you, Nicole.
Yes.
Thank you, and I vote yes. Thank you, members, again. It's most likely my last year. I don't think I have any more juice in me, so hopefully you all can.
I've heard that one before.
um, so hopefully you all can, you know, next year. With that, I'm going to move on to the office of vice president. I would like to nominate Jesse Crowley if, again, if you would accept that nomination, Jesse. To
Sure,
serve
I'll
as
accept the
another year.
nomination. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. Do we have any other nominations?
I think we need a second, right?
Yeah, I'll second that one.
Thank you, Renee. I appreciate it. With that, do we have any other member comments? Okay, we're ready for public comment in Sacramento. No
No one
comment.
here in Sacramento.
Thank you, Jesse. We're ready for public comment in WebEx. Ann, please.
Thank you. If anyone would like to make a comment on the nomination for vice president, you can look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. And if you are a calling user, you can press *3 to raise your hand. Are there any comments? And I do see a request from someone logged in as JA. So JA, I'm going to send your request to unmute, and you'll have 2 minutes with a 10-second warning.
And I just wanted to comment, actually, I was trying to comment on Song's nomination. I just wanted to say how much I appreciate all your help last year with just the board as a general help with a lot of items that I was having to sort out. So I just want to let the board know how much I appreciate all of your work and your support. And I think you do a tremendous job to protect the community. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's very sweet. I think I can extract who that is, but I won't name.
Oh, it's Julie Abraham. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Julie.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any other comments, Ann?
No, we do not have any other requests for comment. Shall I close the public comment feature for now?
Yes, please. Thank you. With that, Jesse, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you, Jesse. Trevor, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Renee, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you, Jeff. How do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. KK, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you, Jay. How do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you, Ricardo. How do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you, Maria. How do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you, Nicole. How do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you, and I vote yes. All righty, and the next is now nomination for the office of treasurer. I would also like to nominate Trevor if he would be willing to accept the nomination and continue on as his role.
I accept.
Thank you, Trevor. Do we
I
have?
second it.
Thank you, Jeff. All right, appreciate it. And do we have any other nominations? We're ready for public comment. Sacramento.
No one here in Sacramento.
Thank you, Jesse. Do we have any public comment in WebEx?
This is the moderator. If anyone would like to comment on the nomination for treasurer, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. And our calling users may click *3 to raise their hands. Are there any comments on the treasurer nomination? I do not see any requests for comment. Shall I close that feature?
Yes, please. Thank you, everyone. I wish I was there, but I don't think I want to make anyone sick, so I'm sorry. All right, with that, we're ready for vote. Jesse, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you, Trevor.
Yes.
Thank you, Renee.
Yes.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you, KK.
Yes.
Thank you, Jay.
Yes.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Yes.
Thank you, Maria.
Yes.
Thank you, Nicole.
Yes.
Thank you, and I vote yes. All righty. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate all of you as always. And we're ready to move on to the next agenda item 5, approval of board meeting minutes, including the meeting materials, our draft minutes from several meetings. We met quite a few times the last 3 months. So we'll begin with January 8th, 2025 board meeting. I welcome your comments on the draft minutes. I'll also entertain a motion to approve January 8th, 2025 minutes. Members? And again, sorry if you could just speak up to make a motion, as my camera angle just shows few members.
This is Jesse. I'll move to approve the January 8th, 2025 draft minutes.
Thank you, Jesse. Do we have second?
Second.
Thank you, Trevor. All right, we're ready for public comment in Sacramento.
No public comment here.
Thank you, Jesse. Do we have public comment at WebEx? And
This is the moderator. If anyone would like to make a comment on the January 8th minutes, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. Call-in users can press *3 to raise their hands. Any comments on the minutes? I do not see any requests for comment. Shall I close that feature?
yes, please. Thank you. With that, we're ready for a vote. Jesse, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you, Trevor.
Yes.
Thank you, Renee.
Yes.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you, KK.
Yes.
Thank you, Jay.
Yes.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Yes.
Thank you, Maria.
Yes.
Thank you, Nicole.
Yes.
Thank you, and I vote yes. Motion passes. Moving to the next minutes for our review, which are the draft minutes from the February 5th through 6th, 2025 board meeting. I welcome your comments. Also, as part of your comments, if you'd like to make a motion to approve February 5th through 6th, 2025 minutes. Member?
This is Nicole. I'll move to approve the February 5th through 6th, 2025 board meeting minutes.
Thank you, Nicole. Do we have second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Renee. Appreciate it. All righty, moderator, ready for public comment in Sacramento. I don't see anyone coming up, so we're ready to move to public comment in WebEx. Moderator Ann?
Thank you. If anyone would like to make a comment on the set of minutes, you may look for the hand icon and click that. Or if you're a call-in user, you can press *3 to raise your hand. Any comments on this set of minutes? I do not see any requests. Shall I close that feature?
Yes, please. We are ready for vote. Members, Jesse, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you, Trevor.
Yes.
Thank you, Renee.
Yes.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you, KK.
Yes.
Thank you, Jay.
Yes.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Yes.
Thank you, Maria.
Yes.
Thank you, Nicole.
Yes.
Thank you, and I vote yes. Motion passes. Okay, next is for March 6th March 6, 2025 board meeting minutes. I again welcome your comments and also hoping you can entertain a motion to approve the minutes for March 6, 2025. And I did ask if we could just do all this together, I think many years ago, but we were told no. So sorry for so many motions?
I'd like to move to approve the March 6th minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Renee. Do we have second?
Second.
Thank you, Trevor. All righty. Do we have public comment in Sacramento?
No public comment in Sacramento.
Thank you, Jesse. All right, moderator, and we're ready for public comment. in
If
WebEx.
anyone would like to make a public comment about the March 6th, 2025 board meeting minutes, you can look for the hand icon and click that. And our call-in users can press *3 to raise their hands. Any comments on March 6th minutes? I see no requests for comment. Shall I close that?
Yes, please. Thank you. With that, we're ready for vote. Jesse, how do you vote?
I'll abstain.
Thank you. Trevor?
Yes.
Thank you, Renee.
Yes.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you, KK.
Yes.
Thank you, Jay.
Yes.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Yes.
Thank you, Maria.
Yes.
Thank you, Nicole.
Yes.
Thank you, and I vote yes. Motion passes. Okay, the next few more to go is our draft minutes from the March 12th, 2025 Disciplinary Petition Committee hearing minutes. Welcome your comments, and I will also entertain a motion to approve the March 12th, 2025 minutes. Members?
This is Nicole. I'll motion to approve the March 12th, 2025 Disciplinary Petition Committee meeting minutes.
Thank you, Nicole. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jay. We'll begin with a public comment again in Sacramento.
No public comment here.
Thank you, Jesse. We're ready for public comment in WebEx. Moderator Ann.
If anyone would like to make a comment on the March 12th Disciplinary Petition Committee meeting minutes, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. Our call-in users can press *3 to raise their hands. Any comments? I do not see any requests for comment. Shall I close that feature?
Yes, please. We're ready for a vote. Jesse, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Trevor?
Yes.
Thank you, Renee.
I'll abstain.
Thank you, Renee. Jeff?
Yes.
Thank you, KK.
Yes.
Thank you, Jay.
Yes.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Yes.
Thank you, Maria.
Yes.
Thank you, Nicole.
Yes.
Thank you, and I vote yes. Motion passes. Next, the final minutes for our review today is from March 26, 2025 board meeting. Members, I welcome your comments on the draft minutes, and I will also entertain a motion to approve the March 26, 2025 minutes. Members?
I'll move to approve the 26th meeting minutes.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. Do we have second?
I'll
Second.
second.
Thank you. I think that was Jay, and then, okay. All right. All right, we're ready for public comment in Sacramento. Don't see
No
anyone
public
walking
comment
out.
here.
Thank you, Jesse. We're ready for public comment in WebEx. Moderator Ann.
If anyone would like to make a comment on the March 26th, 2025 board meeting minutes, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand, and our call-in users can press *3 to raise their hand. Are there any comments on the March 26th minutes? I do not see any requests for comment. Shall I close that feature?
Yes, please. Thank you, Moderator Ann. Okay, members, we're ready for a vote. Jesse, how do you vote?
I'll abstain.
Thank you, Jesse. Trevor?
Yes.
Thank you, Renee.
Yes.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you, KK.
Yes.
Thank you, Jay.
Yes.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Yes.
Thank you, Maria.
Yes.
Thank you, Nicole.
Yes.
And I vote yes, the motion passes. Okay, next is agenda item 6, report by the Department of Consumer Affairs. I would like to welcome Judy Bucciarelli, Manager Specialist with Board and Bureau Relations with the Department of Consumer Affairs, to provide an update from the department. Ms. Bucciarelli, the floor is yours.
Let me get situated here. Good afternoon. Can you hear me all right? Might be me. Well,
We can hear you on WebEx.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to join your meeting this afternoon. Before I start my report, I'd like to welcome Ricardo Sanchez back to the board. Next, I'd like to congratulate the board on a successful sunset hearing last month. And finally, on behalf of the department, thank you for filing your Form 700s timely ahead of the FPP's deadline, which allowed DCA to achieve full compliance. Thank you very much. Moving on to the first item in my report, I'd like to share some information regarding the governor's reorganization plan. In January, Governor Newsom released his proposed 25-26 state budget, which included a proposal to split our current Business, Consumer Services, and Housing Agency into two state agencies, the California Housing and Homelessness Agency and the Business and Consumer Services Agency. The proposed California Housing and Homelessness Agency, which we have a new acronym, CHHA, will oversee housing and homelessness solutions and safeguard civil rights. The new Business and Consumer Services Agency will be responsible for consumer affairs, licensing, and enforcement. The Department of Consumer Affairs would be among the 8 entities in this new agency. As part of the process in state government, the governor's reorganization plan was delivered to the nonpartisan Little Hoover Commission for review on April 4th. The submission of the plan to the commission began an approximate 90-day formal process. In the coming weeks, the commission will conduct public hearings for interested parties to provide input on the proposed reorganization. The dates for these hearings will be announced soon. After the hearings and within 30 days of the plan being submitted to the commission will write a report that will be submitted to the governor and the legislature. The commission's report will offer a recommendation to the governor and legislature as to whether it believes the reorganization plan should go into effect. The commission sometimes offers recommendations for how the plan could be strengthened, either through administrative actions or subsequent legislation. The legislature will then have 60 days to review and consider the reorg plan. The governor's plan becomes effective on the 61st day after it has been given to the legislature, unless either the Senate or Assembly adopts by majority vote a resolution to reject the plan. If approved, the Business and Consumer Services Agency will be created in July of this year with 1 year of transition and will become operative on July 1st, 2026. In addition to several virtual briefings hosted by Secretary Moss, there is detailed information available on the reorganization plan. And I'm going to read off this website address to you in case you'd like to take a look at it. You can, it's https:// I always get these backwards. I think it's / bcsh.ca.gov/about/reorganization. We believe this is an extraordinary opportunity for DCA to better align with other consumer protection entities. With a dedicated and consumer protection focused secretary within the governor's cabinet, this is an exciting opportunity that will only strengthen our mission, momentum, and delivery of services to California. DCA will continue to keep board and bureau leadership updated on the progress of the governor's reorganization plan. Next, I have an update on hybrid telework and the transition. On March 3rd of this year, Governor Newsom issued an executive order requiring all state agencies and departments to update their hybrid telework policies for employees and increase from 2 to 4 days in the office per week beginning on July 1st. On March 13th, the California Department of Human Resources issue guidance on implementation of the executive order. The guidance provides defined parameters for when agencies and departments can make case-by-case exceptions to the 4-day in-office minimum requirement. Furthermore, DCA has been working closely with a few programs on identifying additional space needed for this transition. Finally, DCA has been working diligently to respond to questions and will continue to keep board and bureau leadership updated on any additional direction received from CalHR. This concludes the update today. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. And at this time, I'll turn the floor back to President O, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Picciarelli. Members, do we have any comments or questions for Ms. Picciarelli? Please feel free to speak up. I don't see anyone. Ms. Picciarelli, we're ready for public comment in Sacramento.
No public comment here in Sacramento.
Thank you. We're ready for public comment in WebEx.
This is the moderator. If anyone has a comment on the DCA report, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. And our call-in users can press *3 to raise their hands. Any comments on the DCA report? I do not see any requests for comment. Shall I close that feature?
Please, thank you, moderator Ann. Thank you, Ms. Picciarelli. Appreciate your report. And
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, members, we're moving on to agenda item 7, discussion and possible action related to proposed amendment to California Code of Regulation Title 16, Section 1708.2 related to discontinuance of business, including review of comments received during the 15-day comment period to the second modified text. This agenda item was placed on the agenda in the event comments were received during the 15-day comment period. I have been advised that no comments were received, consistent with the board's prior motion, and has the authority to adopt the text. Given that, I will proceed to the next agenda item. Agenda item 8, discussion and possible action related to proposed amendment to California Code of Regulation Title 16, Section 1715 and 1784 related to community pharmacy, hospital outpatient pharmacy self-assessment form 17M-13, hospital pharmacy self-assessment form 17M-14, and wholesaler third-party logistics provider self-assessment form 17M-26, including review of comments received during the 45-day comment period. So members, with this agenda is a review of comments received in response to the board's 45-day comment period on proposed amendment to various self-assessment forms incorporated by reference into California Code of Regulation Title 16, Section 1715 and 1784. These proposed amendments were approved by the board in April 2024, but the 45-day comment period did not begin until January 10 of 2025. So this, as you've all experienced, we are in a little bit of an awkward position on these pending changes. Seems like we are constantly coming across this issue with the delay in the notice. Additional changes to pharmacy law have occurred. So I would like to propose an alternative approach. I have identified a number of areas for change on all of the forms. Also, during the Enforcement and Compounding Committee meeting, members identified necessary changes. Given that, coupled with the board sunset proposal, which would streamline the self-assessment form development process from more of a regulation to a statutory process, I'd like to suggest the board withdraw the current rulemaking and allow Maria and I to work together to take a deeper look at all the forms with staff and present revised forms at a future meeting for the board's consideration. If members are agreeable, during Maria's report, should the board agree with the recommendations from the committee, the board could update self-assessment draft in the meantime so that we could post that while we undertake this work the rest of the year. I used to get so confused by this process. So I'm just wanting to make sure if members are we all following on this. I can have Ann walk through what is the situation here as well. If it needs be, but hoping to hear your thoughts on my recommendation. If you agree, I would love to entertain a motion to withdraw the rulemaking proposal to amend CCR 6 Section 1715 and 1784 related to all these 3 self-assessment forms. And I don't know if the motion is necessary, and to work on with Maria and I to finalize the rest of the year to clean up all the forms in anticipation of hopefully the statutory proposal being included in our sunset bill. I said a lot of words there, so I'm sorry I'm not there to see your faces. So I'm
Sung,
hoping,
this is
yeah,
Anne. Just really fast. I do think that a motion will be necessary to withdraw the rulemaking if
yes.
that's what members choose to do. Specifically, the delegation, I don't think that you necessarily need a motion there because it will be going before the board. I think it's just, confirming that members are comfortable with that approach.
Okay, members, do we have any comments? Maria, I will make sure you have also. I know you've been working very diligently in this process as chair of the enforcement committee for the last many, many years. And I'm hoping the approach I'm proposing is actually somewhat of a reasonable approach to make things a little bit simpler. So we don't have to just keep getting stuck in this regulatory loop.
President, O, this is Maria, and I
Yes,
agree with your approach, and thank you for your thoughtful consideration. In years past, board members realize that we've had different versions of the self-assessment form, as one version is going through the regulatory process and then another year with more changes. So I'm happy to support your approach by making a motion that we withdraw the regulatory package at this time.
Oh, perfect. Thank you,
Does
Maria.
it need to say anything else in the motion?
I think just to be safe, you guys decide over there if she needs to read the whole thing.
Yes, if the motion could say a motion to withdraw the rulemaking as noticed January 10th, 2025.
January 10th, 20.
Yeah, so I think what Jennifer's suggesting is that the motion be something along the lines of withdraw the rulemaking package noticed in January, I don't know what the date is, 25th, 2025, related to possible amendments to section 1715 and 1784 related to the self-assessment forms incorporated by reference.
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you, Maria. Do we have second? Members, do we have any comments? I hope everybody is comfortable with this approach. It's a little complicated.
This is Renee. So, and then
Yes.
where's the piece where the draft is updated? Is that next?
That'll be in the committee discussion because we're still
Okay.
the draft
Yes.
from the committee.
As a user of the forms.
Because we do want to update as much
Yes.
as possible. But current version is 2022, so we would definitely
Okay, so just
want
next.
to
Sorry.
approve. Yes.
Trying to track. Okay, thanks.
Sung, what is the statutory situation? Are we waiting on a bill to go into effect? Do we expect a bill to go into effect? Could you clarify that?
Sure. And do you mind speaking on to that? Because you've been deep in this process for so many years, and now you finally, I don't know why we didn't think of this sooner, actually. Very creative approach that Ann Soderwing came up with. And now it's it being a reality for all other self-assessment forms. So
Yeah, so it is one of the issues that the board raised through the sunset process. And so I think it's pretty non-controversial. So I don't think we anticipate there being any challenges with inclusion. We already have the surgical clinic self-assessment in statute. So we already have precedents for this approach. We would just be, the recommendation is just to transition all of the other ones into statute. From a process standpoint, we seem to struggle keeping the regs current in this area because pharmacy law is so dynamic. And so we've kind of detailed out the policy argument in our sunset report. So I don't anticipate there being any problems. Should there be, we can always restart the rulemaking if necessary later in the year.
Got it. So this is in relation, we're waiting for the sunset to be adopted. And once that's adopted, then those changes go into effect here.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. And just what, random, there's one question that was asked about 3PL. Does the updated form apply to resident, does the 3PL apply to non-resident as well as resident?
So it's not,
Officially, go
Sorry,
ahead,
President.
go ahead.
it's not
Go ahead.
required that the non-resident 3PLs complete the form. However, if it would help them in ensuring their compliance, they're welcome to complete the form.
Okay, thank you. And so I'll second.
Thank you, Trevor. So hopefully, if the plan happens to succeed, which I'm really hoping, all we would have to do is during the board meeting, we would just need to approve the self-assessment form for licensees to use going forward instead of a long regulatory approach, and that would help us be very nimble. If we saw something that, is changing, the policy direction's changing, we could just easily change the form at the full board level. Hopefully, and I'm sorry, you're not here to kick me under the table, so I'm just going rogue here. I think that's pretty correct, but if not, please correct me. With that, any other comments, members? Okay, we're ready for public comment.
None here in Sacramento.
Thank you. Do we have public comment in moderator and on WebEx?
Thank you. This is the moderator. If anyone would like to make a comment on the motion, you will be able to click the hand icon to raise your hand. Call-in users can press *3 to raise their hands. We ask people to speak only once per agenda item, and you will have 2 minutes with a 10-second warning. We do have a request to comment from John Gray. John, I'll send you a request to unmute, and you'll have 2 minutes.
Hi, good afternoon. This is John Gray, registered pharmacist with Kaiser Permanente. Thanks for the opportunity to comment. So first of all, just want to thank the board staff and for reviewing our comments on the hospital self-assessment and working them into the proposed self-assessment, which is now being not going to be advanced further into the rulemaking process. There were comments on Ryan's Law and pharmacy technicians performing unit inspections in the hospital. I do hope that that those comments will be carried forward into the version, kind of consolidated version, and that President O and Board Member Serpa are working on. And then I think as Board Member Barker was alluding to, we would certainly appreciate anything the board can do to ensure that there's clarity to the regulated public on which self-assessment form licensees should be completing this year as they are coming up due. So I think those are my comments on this item. Thank you very much for the opportunity to provide comment.
Thank you for the comments, Dr. Gray.
And I do not see any further requests for comment. Shall I close that comment feature?
Yes, please. Thank you. And can you just please make sure that you announce that there's a form that's up on the website that's, I think, 2022 version. Those are acceptable, as well as the draft that we're about to approve, hopefully at the next section of our meeting today under Enforcement Committee. Both would be acceptable, correct?
Yes, and we can release another subscriber alert to that effect as well.
Thank
I'll
you.
work with council.
Thank you, Anne. Alrighty, members. Any other comments before we go for vote? I don't see anyone raising their hand, so we're ready for a vote. Jesse, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you, Jesse. Trevor?
Yes.
Thank you, Renee.
Yes.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you, Jeff. KK?
Yes.
Thank you, Jay.
Yes.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Yes.
Thank you, Maria.
Yes.
Thank you, Nicole.
Yes.
Thank you, and I vote yes. Motion passes. Okay, members, next agenda item 9, Enforcement and Compounding Committee report. I will turn the meeting over to Chair Maria Serpa for a report on the Enforcement and Compounding Committee meeting we've had.
Thank you, President O. On behalf of the Enforcement and Compounding Committee, I'm pleased to provide the board with a report of the committee's March 27th meeting. Thank you to my fellow committee members, Vice Chair Renee Barker, and members Jeff Hughes, Sung Oh, Ricardo Sanchez, and Nicole Tebow. Discussion and consideration of implementation of Assembly Bill 1902, prescription drug labels accessibility. Members, as you may recall, during our October 2024 meeting, the committee discussed possible implementation activities for a number of measures signed by the governor, including Assembly Bill 1902, a measure related to prescription drug label accessibility. During our initial discussion, there was some discussion about the need to develop regulations to implement the requirements. During the committee's March 27th, 2025 committee meeting, we had the opportunity to continue our discussion. You will note from the meeting materials that the committee's discussion, the committee discussed some specific policy questions. As the meeting materials include a summary, I will just note that as a committee, while considering the various questions, we believe that the board's regulations in this area should focus on ensuring pharmacies develop policies and procedures to define their compliance with the legislation and how it will be achieved. We noted that meeting a patient's needs to an accessible prescription label will likely vary for individual patients, and as such, board must provide pharmacies with the flexibility in meeting the patient's needs. If members of the board are comfortable with this approach, the committee will consider draft regulations at a future meeting. Members, do you have any questions or comments?
I'll just say I agree with that approach. I think there's already been a lot of confusion on how individual pharmacies can comply with this. So I think that's the best approach.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, we'll have public comment beginning in Sacramento. Seeing none, moderator, we're ready for public comment via WebEx.
This is the WebEx moderator. If anyone would like to make a comment, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. If you are a call-in user, you may press *3 to raise your hand. Each speaker will have 2 minutes with a 10-second warning. Any comments at this time? I do not see any requests for comment. Shall I close public comment?
Thank you. Okay, next agenda item, discussion and consideration of updates to self-assessment forms incorporated by reference. Deja vu. As was previously mentioned by President O during the committee meeting, we reviewed additional recommended changes to several of the self-assessment forms to add changes that became effective in 2024. After the meeting, there were clarifications made based on the committee's direction. The changes are illustrated in blue highlights. Beginning with the community pharmacy self-assessment, you will note that changes are being recommended in 4 areas, including section 1.27, 13.31, 6.13, and 11.17. I don't think we have a slide for that, but in the meeting materials do show those areas highlighted in blue. Members, do you have any questions or comments on those recommendations?
So just to clarify, unlike the previous ones, our sunset doesn't have any impact on these self-assessments?
Has total impact on the self-assessment.
Oh,
So the sunset will allow us to continue the process in a more streamlined manner.
got it. So, but we don't need to pause this like we did the
So we
other.
are.
Oh, that's what
part of
that's
the
what this
process.
is. Oh,
Right now, I'm giving the board, the committee report of what we did.
oh wait. Oh,
And then at the end, I'm going to talk about the pause part.
got it. All right.
So
Thank
I'm
you.
just reviewing what the committee's work was.
Got it. Thank you.
And the committee instructed me to make a few changes, and so they're highlighted in blue. But in addition to that, I think I needed to also suggest that you saw in the previous agenda item, there were comments that were suggested by staff. And I would suggest that we include the changes in comment 7 and comment 8 that were provided by John Gray and Kaiser Permanente that was mentioned in the previous agenda item. And that's to delete 1.115 and to update section 2.22. And so if you remember, those were to delete the reference to cannabis, which was I'm on the wrong section. Save that. Pause on, put a pin on that. That's for hospitals. Sorry about that. I wrote that in my, my notes in the wrong section. So we're looking at the changes from the committee, 1.27, 13.31, 6.13, and 11.17. Any other comments from the board? Okay. The next, let me give you the little intro before I give you the comment again. The committee is also recommending a change to the hospital self-assessment form, specifically in section 23.13. In addition, the committee's direction, at the committee's direction, a provision relating to veterinary prescriptions has been removed. So in the meeting materials, you will see the change in 23.13 in blue, and that the provisions for veterinary prescriptions are removed. In addition, I would like to suggest that we delete 1.115, which is regarding cannabis, and update the wording on 2.2.2, which was from public comment on the 45-day comment period, to update the wording on pharmacy technician checks, unit inspection checks. It's just a little bit reworded, and that was in the materials from the previous agenda item. Members, any comments? Hope I didn't confuse you.
Sorry, this is Jessie. I will admit I am a little confused. I'm having trouble kind of following along with like some of the public comments.
So the public comments were not done at the committee. So that's all, the rulemaking file has been removed. So we are not moving forward with the regulation. But what we're doing is
I
reviewing-
understand that part. I think, well, at some point, will we discuss the public comment? Because I would like to consider that as you continue, with the draft separate from this, separate from the rulemaking process.
And maybe you can assist. I think what we're planning on doing is that Sung and myself, as the chair of the enforcement committee, would come up with a new draft. And then that new draft would be discussed as a board, either as a regulatory package, depending on the sunset, or as just an update to the document if the sunset passes. That we don't have to do a regulatory package. So it will come back through the board.
Okay.
And maybe you can help me to explain that. I think Jesse's.
I guess what I'm confused about is this essentially being used as like the format for the new draft?
No.
Or you're
So I
saying
think
that's
that part of the intent is to restructure some of the self-assessment form in its totality.
Okay.
Because we haven't really done like a deep dive for a number of years. So taking a more critical look at it instead of just doing a few minor updates.
Okay, thank you.
So maybe I should kind of jump ahead a little bit. At the end of the presentation of what the committee is going to do, I'm going to suggest that these drafts be posted on the board's website as a draft for people to be able to look at.
Yes.
So
Thank you, Maria.
yeah,
Yes,
so
that would be
it's
great.
that's the part that's a little bit confusing, is because I'm going to make that suggestion at the end. So you're probably saying, well, why is she talking about it now? Because this all went away, right? If it all went away, why are we talking about it?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, because if we're going to be posting a draft, I do think there are some changes that are valid concerns in some of the comments. So that's what I was trying to figure out when we should bring that up essentially, but I can bring that up once we talk about the draft to be posted at the end of your presentation.
Okay, I hope it's a little bit more clear.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Again, we're on the hospital self-assessment form, and I think I included the discussion that the committee has instructed to me. And then when I reviewed the additional comments, I suggested 2 additional areas to change the hospital self-assessment form. If anybody has any other comments or questions about the hospital self-assessment form. It's a little easier. As indicated in the meeting materials, there are no substantive changes that are recommended to the wholesaler, third-party logistic provider, or the automated drug delivery system self-assessments. The committee also discussed surgical clinic self-assessment and thought that section 7.9, 7.10, and 7.11 could potentially be consolidated. And if you look at the meeting materials, you will see that it was determined that the current section 7.8 was sufficient, and those additions of 7.9, 7.10, and 7.11, those were suggested additions that are not were removed. So we're just remaining with the current form with no changes to surgical clinic self-assessment. With that, and given the prior action by the board to withdraw the current rulemaking related to self-assessments, I believe it is still, this is the important part, I believe it's still appropriate to formally approve these updated forms, and that's the Community Pharmacy Hospital Outpatient Pharmacy Self-Assessment 17M13 and Hospital Pharmacy Self-Assessment Form 17M.14. This will allow the board to update the draft versions that are posted on our website and to be used for future discussions. So the idea is to make these minor changes as a placeholder until we go through the entire documents and make the changes after sunset as discussions have completed. That way, the current draft that's posted on the board's website is behind, so it'll be a more current draft, but it still would be a draft. Does that make sense? It's kind of complicated, but I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if that makes sense, I welcome a motion if you believe such actions are appropriate. And so the recommendation would be to approve the drafts so that we could post them on the website and to be used for future discussions.
Jesse, was there anything that you wanted to add to the draft?
Yeah, I think there, it was comment number 3 where someone for the outpatient hospital had mentioned that they suggested removing subsection 6.7 as hospital pharmacies do not have store management. I do think that the wording there is confusing for people in an outpatient setting. And if there's a way that we can change that language or just have it be management so that it's clear, kind of similarly with some of the other comments made that traditionally apply to like a normal outpatient setting, I do think there's some confusion there. So I think we could still kind of work through things to make things clearer.
So my response is that the staff, if you look at the staff's responses, they don't recommend a change. And that may be because commonly the self-assessments just restate what's in regulation or law. So we'd have to go back and look and see that. So it's just a draft at this point, and the staff is not recommending any changes because there are sometimes ownership issues in hospitals also.
Right. Yeah, I saw the staff changes. I just think like coming in as a PIC when you're doing the self-assessments form and you're reading it, sometimes things do get confusing the way they're worded. You get confused whether things apply to you. So I think trying to make things as clear as possible for pharmacists is should be one of the goals for these self-assessments.
I agree.
So my question would be to staff is, I believe that's in the current approved form. It's not something that we were making a change. So I don't think it's the public have commented on something that is on the current form. So I agree that we need to look at it, but we still have a draft and an opportunity to look at it rather than try to fix it now and not post the draft. So you see what I mean? I'd rather move ahead with the draft so we can update the
Right.
drafts that are on the website. Otherwise, the information will be out of date. It is out of date right now.
Is there no room to make changes to whatever draft is being posted currently, or does it have to be the previous draft that was posted? I guess that's where my confusion is.
So the draft that for community and hospital outpatient is the one that's in the meeting materials with the changes being in blue.
Right, but I guess what I'm asking is when we post these drafts for people to use, are we able to make any changes to the draft currently, like right now in this meeting?
We could, but my concern would be that oftentimes the self-assessment, and again, staff would have to check it. The self-assessment just repeats what's in regulation and law, so we wouldn't want them to not match. So I'm not sure what the law actually states about this. Does it actually stay store management? That would be my concern about changing the self-assessment.
Do we have an answer of if the law says?
So what does BPC 4113 say? Is that where it's quoted? I'm not quite sure.
And sorry, I'm relying on you here. to see. I think it says store management in the statute. That's probably the reason why.
Yeah, I think she's double checking right now.
It does? Do you, I'm hearing that it's in D1, that it actually says in the statute, store management.
Mm,
Okay, thank you.
well,
But I agree with you and the commenter that it is an area that could be future discussion. But as of today, we're trying to use a self-assessment in light of what current statute and regulations. Okay, so where we are now is if you believe that it is appropriate to approve the updated drafts, that we could update our website with these updated drafts and be used for future discussion going forward when we update all of the self-assessments. I think, is it written on here? I don't think we have a motion typed on our slide. So Anne, can you help us with the motion?
Sorry.
I think we're just looking for the wording. I mean, I gave the concept of what we're looking for, but I think we need some help with the actual wording of the motion.
So council might need to help me here, but I think it's approve the drafts for posting consistent with the board's direction or the board's discussion, including the proposed changes to the community pharmacy and community pharmacy, outpatient pharmacy self-assessment, and the hospital pharmacy self-assessment. I got a thumbs up from council, so I'm gonna say that's good.
I'll move to make a motion for that.
So that's a so moved.
So moved. I wish the words were still up there. They're gone.
I know. Thank you. So we need a second? I'll second it. We're ready for public comment. Any public comment in Sacramento? Seeing none, moderator, we're ready for public comment via WebEx.
This is the moderator. If anyone would like to make a comment on the issue or the motion, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. And our call-in users can press *3 to raise their hands. Are there any requests for comment? I do not see any requests for comment. Shall I close that feature?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Members, I know this is a little bit confusing. So do you have any questions before I turn the meeting over to President O?
I do actually have one final comment, just thinking about it logistically. That I think the subscriber alerts are great, but I am afraid that having these draft self-assessments in addition to the one that's posted is going to create some confusion for pharmacies.
So there currently are drafts posted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
So this would be to
kind of
update
to
a new draft to update the current draft that's posted.
Yeah, this is kind of consistent with past practice because
it.
we're always lagging behind. So generally our messaging is, but you know, by law, this is the form, but we believe that completing the draft will be
More
it's worded
accurate.
better, will be a more, will be more helpful to you in assessing for current legal requirements.
Okay.
I promise the wording is better, but hopefully you get the intent.
Yeah, and I apologize for the confusion. That's the whole reason why we have this in the sunset language, is to avoid this in the future by having the regulations take so long that new changes come and we never catch up. And then we have version after version after version. So hopefully, if all goes well, the board will have the authority to make changes to self-assessment without going through the regulatory process. So the motion is stated. President O, we're ready for the vote.
Thank you, Chair Serpa. Jesse, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you, Jesse. Trevor?
Yes.
Thank you, Renee.
Yes.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you, KK.
Yes.
Thank you, Jay.
Yes.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Yes.
Thank you, Maria.
Yes.
Thank you, Nicole.
Yes.
Thank you, and I vote yes. The motion passes. Back to you, Chair Serpa.
Thank you all. I hope this one's a little more cleanly stated. I apologize for the confusion. This one is discussion and consideration of petition request forms used for petitions for reinstatement of a license, petitions for modification of penalty, and petitions for early termination of probation. The meeting materials provide background information on this agenda item, including the relevant sections of law that establish the general parameters for petitioning the board for changes in a penalty or seeking reinstatement of license. As the meeting materials note, in 2023, staff made changes to the petition forms. Following implementation of the revised forms, it appears that there is an opportunity to evaluate the information requested and determine if additional changes are appropriate. One of the concepts discussed at the committee meeting was consolidating the various petition forms into a single form. Such approach may make it easier for petitioners and ensure the board receives consistent information. Committee members also requested 2 additional changes to the proposed updated form, specifically question 15 and 16. The text is highlighted in blue that reflects the additional changes made to consolidate the petition form consistent with the committee's discussion. With these changes incorporated, I believe that the consolidated form is appropriate and look forward to the transition to the use of this new form or this updated form. Members, do you have any questions or comments on the petition form that is attachment 2A? If we believe the form is ready, I would welcome a motion to approve the updated form.
Hi, Maria. This is Nicole. I'll motion to approve the updated form.
Thank you.
I can second that.
Thank you, President O. So that means that we're ready for public comment. Any comment in Sacramento? Seeing none, moderator, we're ready for public comment via WebEx.
This is the moderator. If anyone would like to make a comment, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. And our call-in users can press *3 to raise their hands. Are there any questions or comments? I don't see any requests for comment. Shall I close that feature?
Great, thank you. Seeing that there's no public comment, I think we're ready for the vote. President O, I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Chair Serpa. Jassy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Trevor, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Renee, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Jeff, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you, Jeff. KK, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Jay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Ricardo, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Maria, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Nicole, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. And I vote yes. The motion passes back to you, Chair Serpa.
Thank you. Enforcement statistics are included as a part of the meeting materials. The summary is of the first 8 months for fiscal year 2024-2025. The board has initiated 2,099 complaints and closed 1,971 investigations. As of March 1st, 2025, the board has 1,495 field investigations pending. The materials provide a breakdown of the average time frame for each of the various stages of the field investigation process. Members, I welcome your thoughts on the enforcement statistics. Seeing none, we're ready for public comment. Any comment in Sacramento? Moderator, we're ready for public comment via WebEx.
This is the moderator. If anyone would like to make a comment, you can look for the hand icon and click that. And our call-in users can press *3 to raise their hand. Are there any comments? I do not see any requests for comment. Shall I close the feature?
Thank you. Seeing that there were no comments, I turn the meeting back to you, President O. Thank you.
Chair Serpa. I appreciate all your hard work and all the committee members as always. Next agenda item is agenda item 10. We're going to quickly go through this, and it's only 2:09, so I hope you all have great time today. We're going to go to closed session probably after this. Shouldn't take too long, so we'll take a break after org development, and then we'll go to closed session. Moving to agenda item 10, the Organizational Development Committee report. The report is for information only, so I'll keep my comments very brief and open up for board and public comments at the end. The meeting materials include updated information on the board's budget for fiscal year 24-25, which began on July 1st, 24. The board's authorized expenditures are anticipated to be about $35.2 million this year. The board's funding condition is expected to increase slightly at the end of the current fiscal year. According to the report provided by the DCA, the board's fund condition currently has 6.4 months in reserve As a reminder, under the provisions of Business and Professions Code, Section 4400P, the board shall seek to maintain a reserve equal to approximately 1 year's operating expenditures. As the board's new fee structure became effective in January 2025, we'll continue to monitor the fund and, if necessary, make adjustments in future years. Board member attendance and mail vote information is included in attachment 2 and 3. Again, I'm sincerely grateful to everyone for their time and commitment to protecting California consumers. Moving to personnel update, the board currently has 12 vacant staff positions. Recruitments are ongoing. I do receive regular updates on recruitments as part of my weekly meetings with Executive Officer and Deputy Executive Officer Julie, and monthly as part of our Organizational Development Committee meetings. Members, do you have any comments on the items included in this report?
I just have, is this just on the budget report or
Oh, anything and everything.
anything?
Yes.
I just one really quick comment. It's very detailed, but on the board member attendance, I was listed as being in attendance for January 8th, and I was supposed to be, but I had to evacuate and didn't end up making it to that meeting. So just wanted to let you know that I wasn't there that day.
Thank you, Nicole, for your extreme honesty. I appreciate it as always. I'm sure Debbie and Ann can update that. Thank you. Do we have any other member comments? All right, members, we're ready for public comment in Sacramento.
No public comment here.
Thank you, Jesse. And we're ready for WebEx moderator, Ann.
Thank you. This is the moderator. If anyone would like to make a comment on the report, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. Call-in users can press *3 to raise their hands. Are there any comments on the reports? I do not see any requests for comment. Shall I close that feature?
Yes, please. Thank you, moderator Ann. Okay, members. That is it for today in the open session. We're ready to go to closed session.